Alrighty, there I am. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the stream here. I certainly hope you guys are doing great today, because I'm not doing too bad myself here. What are we doing today? Well, we are back in Planet Coaster. We are actually, got a few things I need to go over right before we begin today. First things first, this stream's going to be a little bit shorter than I normally would do. I had something come up that I'll have to end the stream a little bit early, so we're only streaming from 1 to 3 today. So we get about 2 hours worth of content, and then we'll be back again like normal on Friday. Trying to keep everything positive here, so I probably won't talk much about what's going on right now in the world, but really want to kind of focus on this today. So what are we doing today? Well, let's go ahead and pop over into the game here. So you can see here, we have the bus station that we worked on last time, still looking really good. Still had time to get in here, unfortunately, to actually do all the lines and everything, but the bus station's still looking really nice. I really do like how it's turned out so far. And so what are we working on today? Well, I did speak about it last time. We were going to work on the main entrance over here. Now, what originally I had kind of planned, I was going to start working on the pathway and stuff like that, but I'm like, you know what, I want to add the ticket booth in, because I've been meaning to put a ticket booth in here, and I haven't yet. This is going to be much more than a ticket booth. Now, if any of you guys have been to amusement parks or anything like that, you know the first thing you got to do in construction is you've got to put up a wall of where your path is. I thought about this just a couple of minutes before the stream, so I went ahead and just put up a simple wall here, and this is where our ticket booth is going to go. As you can see here, it is the typical fence. If you've ever been to, if you go to Disney currently, there's a lot of these around where they're doing some renovations as well as some new construction, especially in Epcot. If you go to Epcot, about half of Future World right now is just boards like this. Now theirs is a little more detailed, but this is what I got. I kind of wish I had a little bit better ones. Kind of looked like more like the Disney ones, but these will work. These do actually have the barriers in them as well, so people will walk around this area. So, this is where we're going to place our ticket booth. And I say a ticket booth, it's a lot more than just a ticket booth. So, the idea is I'm going to have ticket sales here. So, this is actually where if you called ahead or something like that, or if you just walk up and want to buy tickets right now, this is where you'll be able to buy tickets. As well as we'll have a will call. So, if you've already ordered your tickets and you just pick them up, that'll be the place you need to go. It'll also be our season pass processing. So I imagine a park like this, I am kind of basing it off the Cedar Fair model. They probably have some sort of season pass that you can buy, and it's like $150, but you can come as many times as you want. You like free parking, something like that. At least that's the gold pass for Cedar Fair. But then you can actually process it there. They'll take your photo and they'll actually hand you your actual season pass card. And then I also want to have like a lost and found area here. That's kind of how we did it at Kings Island. We actually had all that in one building. It was kind of just outside the park, and we would walk stuff up there if need be, if something were amiss for some reason. So that is kind of the whole idea of this. And sorry if I feel like if I look a little kind of not down, but a little sleepy or whatever. I've got a headache and just have not 100% right now. But I feel fine, but, I'm going to be a little puny today. But I have some great ideas. I think we will get started on them. Now, if you notice, this area is not very big, and it was not really by design. I kind of threw up this entrance, which, by the way, we are going to be redoing this whole entrance here. I kind of covered it up with trees, and what I'm not a huge fan of that. I think the tree line needs to actually be pushed back, maybe even to the back area here, and kind of move the fence along or back a little bit more. But I kind of want to free up this entrance here. I kind of want to do this whole plaza area, but I wanted to start on this area first and kind of do it in phases. So it's kind of like how a real park would do things. So I'm going to do this area first and then probably do the facade second. So we'll actually have a special canopy for that, and I'll do all that. I kind of plan on doing stuff like that, but I don't know what I want to do for the entrance yet. And then we'll do this area, which I don't know what I'm going to do with this area yet. I might actually do a special, when I worked at Kings Island, we actually had a special booth set up just outside the entrance. You could buy souvenir bottles. that was actually kind of a popular thing. So I might do something like that, or you know, maybe do some special promotion stuff, maybe even for Christmas, because we're getting towards. I mean, Disney's already put out their Christmas stuff. Let's be real here. They did that 3 days ago, so we'll see how that goes. But you know, I don't know quite yet what we'll be doing with that. But let's work on our ticket booth first. So the first thing I want to have to do is actually clear out these trees, because I got a feeling they're going to be in the way here. So let's just go ahead and grab our multi-select here. Start tearing out the bushes and trees here. As any good construction project would do, we have to tear everything out. Do we want to get rid of that many? We're at, Alright, so that looks a little bit better. You're going to see kind of the shape of what we're going to go for. Now, what I'm thinking about doing is actually getting rid of this fence as well. Seems kind of odd. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go and delete it up to there. Now, essentially what I want to do is run my building diagonal across here. And then maybe even connect it into this building. And then run it a little bit along here and then bring it back across this way. Kind of the idea, at least. So, you know, we'll see how that goes. What also is kind of the issue for me is that I really don't have a plan for the entrance yet. And that's a little worrying. As I think about it, though, I'm thinking about doing more a modern boardwalk kind of feel. So if you ever been to the actual boardwalk in Disney or something like that, you kind of get that feeling. That's kind of what the park was originally kind of based around. So I'm thinking, there we go. I'm yawning already, and it's not going great. Come on, game. There we go. I'm thinking about using actually these painted boards for our ticket booth area, because I think that's what I'm going to convert the front entrance to. And kind of do a boardwalk-esque entrance where you'll, if you've ever seen the entrance to the Boardwalk Hotel, I really like how that looks. And I'm thinking about doing something like that for this. So I think, for now, I think we'll actually kind of go with that idea. And I think it actually might be easier if we actually started with this side, or with this building here. Because then we actually can build off its grid and not have to worry about trying to square everything up and everything like that. So, do something like that. And then we'll need to start bringing it straight across here. Well, actually, to make this a little more interesting, what happened if we actually did something like this first? Probably something like that and that. So we have something like that, and then we bring this straight across like this and over. This actually could be the season pass processing, and that's what I was kind of thinking of here. I think that will actually work out pretty well. So let's do something like that, and then we can use this one to split it from the building. Rotate this thing at a good 45-degree angle, so 15, 30, 45, there we go. Slide this back into the building there, and into here. Now, while it kind of does think that I only get 2 hours today to stream, I think we can get this done, and we might start on the entrance a little bit more as well, just to see what we can do with that. I think down here is where we're actually going to turn this one, so we'll go ahead and bring that there. If we have to delete part of the fence, that I'm okay with that, just because we are putting a building there. It's a little harder to get over a building than it is over a fence anyways, so not too concerned about that. So there is that. We'll go ahead and duplicate. Whoa, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to actually edit the building and build one more over here. I do realize that the terrain has kind of gone up a little bit over here. Let's go ahead and flatten that out a little bit better. Sculpting, flatten the surface. I'm going to turn down how big the area is. And just slowly push. It shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, I don't think it was. Alright, so that is kind of the shape that I was looking for our building here. Now let's go ahead and delete at least these 3 pieces of fencing. We might need to delete more here shortly, but we can take care of that here in a moment. Do we do it there? Oh, I'm gonna shrink all this down. Or there. Oh, that's a bit of an issue. I thought I had a little more room there. All right, well, we'll do that, and then we'll split that from the building. Rotate this at a good 45-degree angle. Slide that into there. Probably do 2 of these, and then maybe 2 diagonal. So that's 1, 2, 1 at the kind of the this orientation, and then do the back side of the building itself. So let's split that from the building. Edit. Rotate that around. Slide that into there. And then once we get this laid out, I can kind of give you an idea of where I want to put everything out, and I think, you know, that'll help a little bit better. Now, can we get away with this? Doesn't look like we can. Never mind. Let's try to see if I can actually use that building to actually build the back wall here, but it doesn't look like we will be able to. So we'll just have to, we'll have to build another building. There's gonna be quite a few buildings actually in this building, which is a bit of a or a bit of a confusing idea. We'll have to rip out some more trees here, but I think actually do a multi-select and see if we can actually move them in a little bit more towards the scrambler. So I don't want to lose those trees. I mean, I liked having that kind of grass barrier in between the actual park itself and the kind of the entrance area. So I wanted to keep that. That's kind of why this green is hopefully will hide a little bit better with the trees. It's not quite go away green, and if you guys don't know what go away green is, you know, it's an interesting thing to look up if you guys are curious, but I can kind of give you a brief synopsis of what go away green is. Now I think there's also go away blue, and it's a color that Disney came up with, and I don't know when. But essentially it blends in with pretty much anything in front of it. And so it's called go away green. So what they do is they paint their buildings this color, and then they'll put shrubbery and trees around it, and it blends in so well you actually can't tell that there's a building there. If you actually look at the, if I'm mistaken, when I was in Epcot, if you actually look at the new Guardians of the Galaxy ride, where Universal Energy was, they have something similar to that with the go away blue there. And you actually, it's hard to kind of tell where the building is and where the sky starts, and it's neat. It's a neat little idea that I've seen people try to use in Planet Coaster, and even I've tried to use in Planet Coaster. Kind of unintentionally did that here, but I think it works. You know, we'll even look at it from the other side real quick, kind of show you what I mean. So there is that. I don't think this pokes through anywhere. So I say there was some. I couldn't remember where there was an information kiosk over here. So that works out pretty well. So there is that. But if you look on from this side, you know, if you're really kind of down low, you can kind of tell there's something back there. But if we put some more bushes, especially right in here, it might be a little harder. It kind of obscures what that actually is, and it's a neat little idea. So now that we have this area, what do we want to do with it all? Well, I'm thinking just kind of as a top-down look. I think if we build a wall this way, this will be our season pass processing. It's a small room. Maybe if we actually did straight across here, might be better. Have this as our season pass processing. We'll have a couple ticket windows and a will call window on the end here, and this can be our lost and found. And I think that works out pretty well. So now we just got to build it. So let's actually go into here, and we're actually going to kind of segment everything off, just so that we kind of know where things are going to go. Let's see, there's that. There we go. So there is that, and then we'll do the same thing on this end. That'll work. I don't expect our lost and found to be massive, because I don't think the people of Planet Coaster actually lose things very often, which is kind of surprising because I know our lost and found was overflowing with stuff, mostly cell phones that people lost on rides. But had an interesting experience one night with lost and found. This is when I was working at Kings Island. I was working in merchandise at the time, and when I was a supervisor, one of my first big positions there was actually at the ECV and stroller rental. And those things were pretty common. I remember it was busy. I was working that night. It was a night shift, and park closed at 10, and this is probably about 10:30. That's normal. When the park closed at 10, if you were out of there by 11:30 or midnight, it was a good night. A lady had come up to us earlier that day and had rented a scooter, and didn't think anything about it. This was probably 11 o'clock in the morning. About 10:30 that night, she came back to return her scooter, and she was livid. Could not figure out why this woman was so mad, and I had heard I had heard something going on outside, and I walked out, and this lady's screaming at my associate. I'm like, this is not ideal. I better go step in. And I step out there, and she's complaining that we stole her credit card, which I don't know why she would have thought that, but she did. And so we're like, ma'am, are you sure you double checked? And so I actually went back to our offices. We actually had a camera out there, and one of the supervisors there, good friend of mine, he was like, hey, can I look at the cameras? There's something. She's saying that we've lost her card. She's ready to sue us, I'm pretty sure, and they say that all the time, which didn't really faze us too much, because you just hear it so much. But he goes, yeah, whatever, we can look at cameras. And so went and looked at the cameras, and funny enough, it turns out that I'm the one who actually handed her card back to her. We have it on camera and everything. And so she was livid for about maybe another 10 minutes at guest relations. They were ready to hand her like free tickets to the park. I mean, that's kind of a common thing they would do. But after we told her that she had lost her own card and that it was sitting in lost and found, she very quietly walked over to lost and found and picked up her card. I don't know why. I mean, I understand people getting upset with losing something like that. Is this building? I think the ground might be a little wonky. That's why it's kind of throwing me off here. And I can understand someone, like, if you lost your credit card and you were, if you're on vacation or something like that, yeah, it would suck. But we had found her card, and we had already taken it up to lost and found. It was somewhere else in the park. It wasn't us. But it also brings up another story. Same place. For some reason, ECV and stroller rentals were always a place people love to complain. Why, I don't know. But when we took ECVs, according to park policy, you were supposed to have a driver's license to actually operate one, because technically they are a motor vehicle, and especially since you're going to be around upwards of 60,000 people, you needed some sort of license to prove that you could handle a motor vehicle yourself, and it was no big deal. Most people were pretty okay with just showing us their license. We write down the number on it, and essentially we also used it just in case we couldn't get the scooter back. We could get in contact with the person. And so about 11 o'clock at night, it was another busy Saturday night. It might have been the same night, and I could be wrong about that. But this woman came up, yelling at my. At that time, I was actually standing out there. Came up yelling at our associate, saying we stole her driver's license. That actually looks like a really good door. I think about that. All right, let's use that. What actually happens if I turn it this way? I'm playing around with doors now. It looks kind of interesting to see what I can come up with. I kind of like that door. Hold on. Let's see if we can swap that out. Anyways, so the woman came up screaming at my associate saying that we stole her driver's license. Once again, there would be no reason we would keep her driver's license. We probably handed it back to her and she probably lost it. That's what I thought. And, she was ready to sue us. All the stuff that, that a person would say if they were trying to get, somebody, trying to get something. And I'm not saying every person like that came up to our booth wanted something. But a majority would say something like that just to try to get something for free or whatever. And I hate to say that, I really do. But there's a lot of people out there like that. Come to find out, what had happened was she actually had left her license on our counter. Which happened, you're kind of in a hurry, you want to get your day started at the park, and you happen to leave something behind. And so we actually walked it up to Lost and Found already for her. And we called it to Lost and Found. We worked with them quite a bit. And they're like, yep, setting up here. It's, whenever she wants to come pick it up. And by that time, one of our area managers had walked by and had to escort the lady along, security had walked up also because they thought we were actually in a fight, which I'm 6'7", probably about 350 pounds. Very rarely would anybody in that park would get into a fight with me. There's maybe a couple, but most guests would not. If they saw me walk out, they're like, all right, that's enough. Security, and she thought we called security on her when really, actually, the guy who walked up was actually a good friend of mine that had worked at the park. So it was like, she was walked out with a security guard and one of the area managers to Lost and Found, and we got that license back to her. But it's some of the craziest things you would find at the Lost and that would happen at Lost and Found. And there were some people, and I really do feel sorry for some people that had a legitimate thing where they had lost something, or they were trying and just trying to get it back, and we didn't find it, or something like that. And there's those people I do feel really bad for, because they were just having fun and they lost something. Now there's been a couple times where we returned items without even taking them to Lost and Found. There was one I remember. I was walking, coming back from a lunch break, and somebody says, "Hey, there's a cell phone here. Can you take it?" I'm like, "Sure, I'll call Lost and Found when I get back to I was working in food service at the time, so I was walking back to my food stand, and somebody had called, or somebody was calling. I was already back at the stand. Somebody had called, and we picked it up. We're like, "Hey, this is who we are. This is who we work for. The cell phone is at," I was working at Hank's Burrito Shack at the time. It's like, "Hey, we're at Hank's Burrito Shack. It's over by, Adventure Express and Coney Mall. If you want to come by and pick up the cell phone." And about 10 minutes later, I think it was a teenager walked in and said, "Hey, I lost my cell phone. I heard it was supposed to be here." Return that cell phone, no problem. So sometimes, it's not as bad as some people make it out to be, and sometimes it's a lot worse than some people make it out to be. All right, so we've got kind of the entrance door to our season pass processing completed. I do want to put some awnings up over here as well. Might be a little difficult because we're not using kind of the traditional entrances. The awnings they have in game are really more for those. And let's see here. I'm kind of looking at the boardwalk, kind of get that idea of kind of how the windows look, how all that. Because if we're building these windows, it kind of makes sense. And the boardwalk itself is a very unique entrance. It's got that huge canopy over it. It has the big boardwalk and big neon letters. So it's kind of neat. Also looking at some of the walk-up windows. I actually found a picture of the bakery that we recreated for the boardwalk. That's also kind of neat. Let's see here. All right, so I think what we'll do is we'll create one window and see how that goes. See, and we can play around with it a little bit too. It's not like we have to do with this. We only get one shot at this. It's This is kind of the neat thing about Planet Coaster. We can do as many times as we want to and not have to worry about either cost or anything, at least in this part of the game. In the actual campaign mode, you have to worry about money. But I haven't played very much of the campaign. That's one thing that I never really got into in the campaigns in this game. Like, even in Planet Zoo, I actually played all the Planet Zoo ones pretty much to their full extent. I'm trying to think. I actually beat the whole entire game. Beat the entire campaign for Planet Zoo. I was kind of curious if I could use this as well. Oh, I might just be able to. Yeah, exactly. I beat that entire game. It was a fun game. They actually, funny enough, after I completed it, they brought out a patch that actually made the game a little bit easier, which I thought was kind of funny because I had already done it on the hardest, or even on the harder difficulty. Because apparently they said they made some of the scenarios a little difficult, and I could agree with that. Some of the campaigns for Planet Zoo were it was tricky to actually, it was kind of finicky. I think it would be kind of the best way to describe it. But once you got a hold of it, or once you finished it, it actually was very rewarding and things like that. So let's see here. I think what I'm going to do. So what concerns me is it has to be so far out to actually get it to work. I'm wondering. Let's try something here. So we have this ticket booth, and we want to use that ticket booth. Let's see if we can actually get something like either one of the. Oh, let me tab out of the game here so I get my chat back up. There we go. Let's see if we can actually work on either. See, is that the painted boards right here? Those. That's what I'm looking for. So I don't think. Yeah, I think that's too small, and where it's at, it's not going to help us at all. So I think what we can do here is rotate this. Let's reset the grid sizes here. Slide that down to maybe there. I think that would work. And then if we can do one above it. Now with that, I wonder if we can slide that down to there. Well, to fill in the sides here, but I think I can do that. Let's get our archer out to see if maybe scale-wise how we're doing. There we go. Yeah, that's almost... I think it's almost spot on. I quite like that. Now, fair enough. I mean, it's only $49 for one-day tickets. A little low. For some, at least for some parks. I mean, you look at Cedar Fair; they're probably around $60. If you go to a Disney park, they're probably closer to about $100 a day, and that's not a joke either. It's kind of surprised how much they were this last time I went, but maybe that's just me. Right. So how are we going to fill in the holes left behind by these walls? First and foremost, let's go ahead and duplicate this wall system, I guess, down all the way. Boop, and boop, and come on. About two more, maybe. And one more. There we go. So there is kind of how our ticket, or kind of the ticket windows are going to look. Now I got to figure out how in the world to fill in this area. Because I don't think our wooden board, like I don't think there is I think call it station surround. I don't think that's going to quite help us. Let's try also this one to see. That's a little too big. And I think that's going to be the same kind of situation with the station surround. Oh, I don't even. Oh, there's the station surround. Yeah, I think it's going to be just a little too big. So we'll need to find something a little more custom to fit into this square here. It's going to have to be some sort of wood. These thick wood beams. Let's see how they look. Now, I get that they're not going to be the same texture as the wooden walls, which is okay. It's not like it's the end of the world. I know we use these beams for our shrimp shack over on the lakeside there. See how that looks. I wonder if I need to paint it. I think the screen's a little bit different. So let's... Ooh, come on. There we go. Let's do that. That looks... I mean, it's not bad. It could be a little bit better, but we also can put some signage there for like special events or whatever. And I think that will work out pretty well. So let's go ahead and copy... Well, I think we need to jazz this up a little bit more. Let's look at some shutters. And what I mean by shutters, I actually mean like window shutters, because, you know, that's kind of the aesthetic I'm going for here. And I know that there is some wooden shutters somewhere. It actually fits in pretty well, like on the side there instead of those boards. But I think I'm going to keep it the way it is. There is, I know it's in, I think it's in the World's Fair pack, that there is some shutters. There they are. Do we want to do a taller one or do we want to do a shorter one? Game's saving on me. We're right there. You know what? Let's go with the short, and we'll have to use a couple of them. Let's do something like that. And then just kind of below it, like that. Or hang on here. I'm wondering, because I mean, that wasn't completely sold on the shutter idea. But what if we use these as kind of a texture piece on the very bottom here? Kind of like that. Archer's actually kind of in the way now, so let's get rid of him. Because there's going to be a lot of green in here, and so I'm kind of trying to break it up just a little bit so that we don't get this blasted with green. Alright, so... there is that. I kind of like how it's looking. It's a little bit different. Kind of gives you like a different kind of wood texturing. Kind of like almost like wooden slats almost. And I kind of like how that's going so far. So I'm wondering if we can actually do the same on top here. And now I do want to rotate it just a little bit. Place it there. Slide that back as far. You know what? Let's actually do it right there. Lower it down. Slide that across until it makes sense. Maybe right there. It's actually not bad. Let's take a look at these posts. So I probably want to do one across the top here as well. Let's actually rotate it the other way. Also notice that these are actually shorter, or these actually over here are actually a lot shorter than the ones over here. So let's actually rotate this around. We'll have a nice wood trim all the way around it. So let's do something like that, and then I got that copy there. Let's go ahead and take all that up. We'll just slide this up into there. Now let's go ahead then and lower the doors here, at least the handles, and we also can lower the supports as well. I think that looks pretty good. Now we can, I think we just go ahead and copy all of this over. We're going to do a little bit of an interior for the actual, are these not part of the same building? I guess they're not. One's a scenery group, the other one's a building part. Alright, so let's take these wood beams actually out of here. And then take this group and that group and merge them, edit that. That'll work out a little bit better for us there. Let's go ahead and copy all this. We won't worry about the top piece there, just for right this second at least, just so that we can kind of figure out what's going on. I did realize that it's a little off there. It's kind of how I want it. So let's go forward here. Just kind of redo this section here. I'm gonna move it back just enough to where, there we go. So it's the actual boards are clipping as much as they can, while the other kind of column pieces are just ever so slightly inset into it like that. Looking good so far. Let's go ahead and grab the next setup of windows here. If we can at least squeeze in one more down here. It's going to be a little tight, but I think we can do it. Might have to do a little finagling. There we go. That gives us, what, 6 windows. Alright, I can do 2 for will call and 4 for tickets. I think that'll be kind of the ideal situation there. This across here. I think so far not looking too awful bad. We'll have to do something at the base as well, because it's like just the top trim here looks kind of odd, just having nothing on the bottom here. So we'll have to do something like that. I also want to copy this over. That. It's actually going to be 90 degrees. Because I actually want to use this also for the Lost and Found entrance, because I kind of want to keep everything pretty much uniform, as much as I can be at least. And I realize that is not a 45 degree, or not a 90 degree angle. Well, I built that wrong. Alright, well we can kind of work with that. Maybe a contractor messed up somewhere. And we'll just kind of slide that back in as far as we can. There we go. Let's copy this. Yeah, it looks like it's only actually a 30 degree angle. I thought it was a 45. But I guess that works too. It's not like it's the end of the world that it's not exactly 45 degrees. And there we go. Let's see. I don't know if this will actually work or not, but let's see what happens if we just copy the top trim and make it a bottom trim as well. Kind of like that. That's not bad. I will leave it for now until I get another idea for that. Let's go ahead and just copy this across to here. Or actually, let's grab both of them, because we will need both eventually. Like that. And there we go. There is kind of a good idea. It's starting to look a little bit better. At least I think it is. It actually looks like a halfway decent booth. Alright, let's do that. Kind of looking around at photos right now, kind of seeing how I want to do kind of the a basic roof right now. And I'm liking how there is, if you look at the kind of the entrance to the boardwalk, on either side there's kind of 2 big towers. I'm thinking about doing something like that. So we'll have like a tower here. Well, kind of, this will be kind of the main towers over here. Actually, wouldn't be too hard to convert those over to what I'm thinking. And then they really have some smaller. It's very square, which is good because, you know, building very round stuff in Planet Coaster can be a little difficult sometimes. Not all the time, but it can be sometimes. So, thinking what we do here is we actually build a square tower. So we duplicate all this. and kind of lift it up. I don't want to make this like the main tower, but it looks like there is some kind of auxiliary towers that they have kind of dotted around, which is kind of, you know, it's kind of neat. I kind of like how it looks. Do I need to do that? So that'll be one tower. I don't know how much we actually raised that up, so let me go ahead and duplicate one of these. This tower's gonna be a little bit different on this side because I did have to cut it back just a little bit for the coaster. But it shouldn't be too awful bad to, at least from the front. It'll look the part from the front, maybe not from the rear. Why is this not going the same height? Build these at different heights. I'm gonna be a little bit upset. Alright, looks like we're going with that height. And then we'll do something like this and like this. Rotate that around to there. And we need grid height. And then we'll copy this one. This is the only one bad thing about working with multiple buildings is that you have to, when you're doing something like this, oh, that's an issue. That's a bit of an issue. I'll have to fix that here momentarily. But when you're working with multiple buildings, you have, number one, you have to click on every individual piece to actually get it if you want to copy something like this. So it's not, you know, great. It does make the buildings look nicer, at least I think it does, when you actually have not just non-square buildings. But here is an issue that I am seeing now. So if you see here, we actually have, need to turn that down like that. You see here, we actually have a part that kind of juts out farther than we need it to. For some reason, it won't let me go down to, well, I guess 1 meter is kind of the de facto. What would happen if I just copied and, oh, do that. See, it lets me put it there. We might just have to redo this wall just a little bit here. We'll have to kind of fake it a little bit on that side and maybe make a little bit of a false wall kind of thing to help fill in this gap, kind of like what we did down here. I got a feeling. Yeah, I think that'll work. Let's go ahead and actually, since unfortunately we will have to build an interior, or at least a partial interior for the ticket booth. We will need to, there we go. We will need to kind of enclose all the walls and everything off. So, well, there is that. So, looks like we got a good start on an area like this. This is going to be a big pain in the butt to actually build a roof for. I'll figure out something, but just know it's going to be a bit of a pain. So let's continue to work on some of the details on the lower parts. I really don't feel like doing a roof right this second. Let's look at some awnings to see what they have out there, and I kind of liked this one. There are some very brightly colored awnings in this, or on the boardwalk. And let's see here. What we got? This one. This one actually fits a lot better. And this kind of looks more like what they have on the boardwalk, from what I can tell at least. Alright, so we can do something like this. Slide it over to about the center. Over to there. A little more. There we go. And then something like that. I do want to repaint it though. I'm thinking maybe like a light blue. That's not blue enough. I think, yeah, let's brighten it up a little bit. That's a little too much. That's more like toothpaste. Let's kind of darken it just a little bit here. And then this needs to be, oh, well. There we go. This needs to be, come on, it won't even let me click on the color palette anymore. There it goes. Do white, and what was the other part here? I think it's actually the supports for it. There we go. think that works out pretty well. And we'll also have we'll also have an exit on the side there, just for people leaving using past processing. So they'll kind of go in this door, they'll do whatever they need to do in here, take their photo and everything, and walk out this door. That'll probably be the easiest way to do that. I'm wondering if we shouldn't just put a corner, like do an awning all the way around this place. Because I see one like that. Then they can actually put things like, hold on, let's do something like that. Let's slide this over, and we'll then actually put this in the proper place here. Something like that. That looks pretty good. And slide this over to, can we actually slide it and make it look uniform? So actually do one back there. That might work. Let's see if we can actually get the colors to match. Oh, that's the wrong blue. I don't think that's the right blue either. Or it could just be shading. I don't know. Guess that is the right color there. Yeah, I don't think that looks too awful bad. And if we can actually get another one of these, slide that down that way, rotate it around. And slide that into there. I think that's a decent little awning for that area. I think I might actually want to do something similar to this. So slide it. Ooh. So I was going to slide it all the way into that building. I don't know if I want to do that or not. I might keep it like that. I mean, I could actually bring that awning all the way down, but that seems like a little excessive. Something like that, maybe. Because I see the issue is, it looks like, well, maybe not. I was about to say that it looks like these awnings are too big to actually have individual ones like this. But if I do something like that, well, see, I think it's a little excessive. So let's not do it for there. But let's actually duplicate these down to this side here. So we'll copy them from here. Do we want to do a... no, I think we'll just do probably 2 awnings side by side and cover that whole front of that building. I think that'll work out the best. Something like that. That. These be. Let's see if we can actually slide this down just a tiny bit. There we go. That looks pretty good. Kind of matches everything else. I think this will work out pretty well. And still, that awning looks odd. Like, it looks out of place just ending there. Do something like that. I think that's starting to look a little bit nicer. I kind of quite like that. Also, trying to do pathing around here is going to be a pain. So let's do that next, because why not? I think we'll stick with the red path. We might redo it over here with a little bit on it, because we're going to build this whole plaza kind of area, redo it. I might actually, you know, cover it up with either concrete or something like that. You know, just something for fun. But let's see here. We need some snapping here. Angle snap. You know what? Actually, let's redo all that, and I'll show you why here in just a moment. I just want to use a grid. because this will this should allow me to actually build the plaza a little bit better. So let's do something like this, and we'll do kind of the angle so it rounds itself like that. Ooh. Let's back it up one more there. Let's actually get rid of that piece. Oh, that's not one. We'll redo that. Nuke. Oh, let's see. There we go. Now I want to. This is not going to cooperate with me, is it? Come on. This is why everybody hates the pathing in this game. It is just so finicky sometimes. See if maybe resetting it might help here. There we go. Let's round that part off and that part off. We get rid of that piece. Well, that's not exactly what well, you know what? Hold on. If we just do something like this, that might work, and then we can kind of make some maybe a nice concrete pad there. Probably would work out pretty well. There's that. We'll kind of start closing up this one a little bit more here. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Something like that. I think I can cover up the rest of it with either planters or actually probably more like just ground covering. I don't think, or like a path covering, I don't think I'll be able to really get that where I want it to go, but that is okay. Let's do that straight across like that. There we go. I think that is going to be kind of how our, I mean, it's kind of the only way we're going to get our path to really work like we want it to. I don't think we'll be able to do anything with this area, really. But, you know, it's okay. It's not like it's the end of the world that we don't get the pathing exactly how we want to do it. That's kind of how all Planet Coaster players are. So we've got this set up here. Do we want to just finish or do an interior for this real quick? I think we do. Just that we don't have to worry about it later. And I think I got some flooring in here I can use that I think it will look good enough. It's not nothing crazy. I think it's like, I mean, I've got some, hold on, what if we do something like this along the back wall here? Let's take a look at what this looks like. Yeah. So I was thinking we could use something like that, just to kind of, make it look like we've got some sort of, I think that's a little too much. Like, this was an old ticket booth, but we've kind of kept it going. But I think these might be a little bit big for what we're looking for. It's a little bit odd, too, so... let's not worry about those, then. Let's see if maybe there's another one in here we can use. I'm thinking, though, that something like this... Yeah, something like this would be great for out front here. Something like right in here. For, like, our souvenir bottles. Especially that Coke stand actually might be pretty good. So there's some... You know what? There was one that actually might work pretty well here. Let's see if maybe they're... I can find it really quick. That I don't think is it. Look one more time here, though. Maybe not. All right, we might be able to use that. You know, maybe along the top there, just to kind of help that, kind of this trim piece here, make it look a little bit different, looking a little bit nicer. Let's do this generic marble floor. I think that looks pretty. You know, it'll work. It's not like the most quintessential floor, but it's probably like a linoleum or just kind of basic tile. It's not actually marble, but you know, that's okay. It'll look kind of nice against the kind of get in the windows here. They're going to look rather nice. Let's see, what else do we have that we can probably use as at least maybe some wallpaper, maybe. I don't know what that is, but that is something. Anyways, While I don't think... That's actually a really nice brick wall. Holy cow. When I downloaded that, but that's really nice looking. I just want to have something that kind of breaks up the... Oh, holy, here we go. I swear I had stuff like this. Come on, there we go. The game did not want to tile the wall. Let's see what we got here. I know, because I know I downloaded a bunch of these stuff like this. Tiled wall. Just kind of going through and see what we have. That was not too bad. I kind of like that first one. It's a little funky, but it kind of gives me like kind of the Epcot kind of ideal. I don't know why, but all right. I don't think. Let's scroll down to the end and make sure that there's nothing else yet. I don't think there is. So I think we're gonna go with this one as the interior walls for this thing. Grid height. Let's shrink it down just a little bit here. Pretty sure these are are they not gridded pieces? They might be. Looks like they are, but they're on the tile floor pieces. Now as you look up, that not bad. It can be a little bit better, but now with this one, I want to get a little creative. Split this from the building here. Slide that into here. Let's edit this building here. I'll have to create some doors as well, but that'll be here momentarily. I'm going to split this from the building. Slide this across to there. And there we go. So now, that's taking up half that ticket booth right there. Alright, well, let's not do that. So we really need it to be about there. You know what? We might not be able to do this last ticket booth, which kind of stinks. But so let's get rid of it real quick. Because I think with that wall kind of being how it is, we're just not going to be able to fit it in there. That last piece we can still keep. I might keep it for that corner as well. Also delete these pieces because I want to use a few less, so I will grab one like this. We might actually be able to make this work. Over? Yeah, it's over. Never mind. Alright, so let's grab this that part again. Let's grab the wood. And reduce that stuff. There we go. Still not bad. Now look, everything looks off center now, and that kind of is going to drive me crazy, isn't it? I think it is. All right, so let's do this. Let's edit all these. Let's actually drag them all down a little bit. Let's actually try to center these up a little bit better here. Something like that will work. That means we're going to redo a few things here. Number one, we're going to redo all the top and bottom trim here, which actually won't take that long, but no big deal. There we go. Slide that over to there. Copy that. Let's slide this over to there. We'll also need to reduplicate all of these to there. We'll need one more to there. Can't go there. Hold on. Come on. Give me the... There we go. It looks like I might just have to kind of... Well, I can actually, you know, once again, do a little bit of trickery here and split that from the building. And now if I slide that in there, there we go. That looks better. That'll kind of square apart our windows a little bit better as well. I think that was... Well, it was a bit of a pain in the butt to actually do, like, you know, because we just built all those. I think that looks a little bit better, especially if we're going to do 5 windows. But yeah, I think that it's actually starting to look really nice. We're going to need some sort of wall on this side as well. This won't be as bad, hopefully. There we go. I'll do a second one there, and I'm worried about the little section there. So there we go. Do we need to put some small desk in there, maybe? Just to kind of show that we do have something in here. I mean, usually with stuff like this, I can go ahead and kind of get away with using... There's like a haunted house piece, if I'm not mistaken. This stuff. Go, we just duplicate all this down. This will make it look like a counter on the other side, and that's kind of what I'm going for. There is that. Now, let's go ahead and do a little more on this. Let's go ahead and rotate these 90 degrees, and right in the middle, I'm going to just slide one of these back like that. Because I imagine there's probably quite a bit of counter space in these things. I actually don't, like, I never had to go into the ticket area, because that was all admissions. I didn't have to worry about that too much. But, you know, I imagine, for one, I would imagine they would need something, they would need a lot of counter space to make sure they have tickets all, you know, for printers and for, you know, if they have to computers and things like that. So, go ahead and duplicate all this, and then like that. Now on the end here, I'm actually going to like that. So I'll do one just to kind of make it look even. That'll be our ticket sales office. Quite like how that's turned out so far. We will need to. I wonder if do we have any like office chairs? Because I mean. Don't worry, I'm pretty sure all these people that worked here had some sort of like wheelie chair they can just kind of scoot around on. Let's go over to the workshop then real quick. Doesn't look like we have one. Let me pop over to the workshop, see if I can find like an office chair really quick. There we go. I need to go down to Theme Maker's Toolkit. Which, by the way, if you don't know what Theme Maker's Toolkit is by now, it's, you know, something you need to look into, because that's where I use a lot of my stuff from. And usually if I don't have if I don't have something, I can usually go over to Theme Maker's Toolkit and be like, hey, this is what I need. And usually they can either point me in the right direction, or they actually have something already, which is awesome. There is one, I'm not a huge fan of it, but there was one that I saw that it would probably work for what we're doing. It's a little on the cheap side, let's be fair here. I think the game's just loading the chairs in now, so it's going to take it a minute. There we go. So let's get this popped in here. And we'll just kind of rotate them at different angles, because let's be real, they probably don't face the customers like that very often. It's actually hovering off the ground. No, not really. I thought they were. It looks like they were hovering a little bit. All right. So now, do I have a computer? I don't. Or do I have a printer? Let's see if we can find those really quick on the workshop as well. I know this is not the most exciting part of this thing, but let's see here. It's like these are the ones that I'm like, maybe. Computer. Oh, they do. Look at that. Well, they also have these really cool dirt. For some reason, when I typed in computer, it also typed, or it popped up dirt, but it looks like old, you know, like dirt stains and stuff like that for buildings. That actually looks pretty cool. No, they don't have, looks like they don't have a printer, but they did have a computer. So let's get the computer put in here. COMP. There we go. See what this looks like. I just realized that this was completely off, and that's why it was popping through the window. Uh-oh. Game do not like something here. Oh, come on. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that looks like about what we would probably use for something like this. What's on the screen right now? I'll just File Explorer. Alright, well, that's fair. But yeah, I think that will really add some detail to our ticket booth here. I'll probably have some animatronics back here also doing doing the salesman stuff. Let's actually also fix this, because this is going to drive me crazy. Slide that over into its proper place, and then up into its proper place. There we go. So now we got a little off. If you look from the outside, you can see here we actually do have. It looks like the computer kind of covered up by the ticket prices sign here, so I think that works out pretty well. And really, I think we can kind of call this done. We can kind of see that it looks like it. Let's add our audio animatronics and make it look like people are doing something here. I think. Let's get through the fireworks here. Don't see those. Well, maybe. I'm looking for like the office worker, essentially. Let's see here. I'm also trying to remember what emissions war. That was something I gotta remember here shortly. Something like that. Slide him into there a little bit. So there we go. If I'm not mistaken, admissions war, their shirts were like a light blue. Like that looks better. And then they wore khaki pants. So orange, lighter. I really should say it's more. They usually wore shorts. Let's be honest here. But what is this? This is hair color. We can make it a little darker, like a dark brown. There we go. And there we go. There's our admissions guy. We'll get another person in here as well. Maybe she'll actually be standing up from this a little bit. And what we can do is make it look like maybe only 2 ticket booths are open right this second. Just to make it look like maybe it's a little bit later on the day. Kind of how we, if you look at our kind of the parking area, you can kind of see that it's maybe not right as it opens, because this part would be really busy. So probably it's more of, it's kind of a little bit later on in the day. It's not quite, you know, there'll still be people coming into the park, but maybe not as many as right at the beginning of the day. So there we go. We can even close. Do we want to? I'm trying to think of a way we can close it. I wonder if I can use, if I use the I think it's called screens. There's like a flex. There's like a flex color. It's not projection screens. These actually would work pretty well. Actually, hold on. Essentially, I just want to make these like the little things that they would pull down over their windows so that it looked closed. I want it the other way. So I actually like the darker color out. Yeah, like that. And then we'll do one more for this side. And then this person forgot to put the window down. So there we go. That actually might be will call. I might put that as will call. So these four will be the ticket booths. That'll be your will call. That'll work out pretty well. So I also want another person working down at will call then. Let's get this guy going down this way. Now, I think it was interesting. And so admissions was kind of a really kind of a split group, and I always thought it was kind of interesting. It was always either admissions were either like the 50, like, of course there's age limits on what different people could do and things like that. So it was pretty funny that it was either they were really young, they were like 15-year-olds usually are in admissions for some reason, or they were some of the older group. So I'll make this guy a little bit older. Make them look like that, and they were always the nicest people in the world. Because usually there's the people that would scan your admissions. Did a couple things. They actually worked the parking lots. They did ticket sales and stuff like that, but they also did they would actually be at the gates swiping your passes or tickets in. They're always the nicest people, but I've noticed usually they're a little bit older, which I always thought was kind of fun. I used to sit there and talk to them because when I worked at front gate, they were they would just be sitting up there, especially if there was nobody up there coming into the park. You know, there was always fun people to chat to. But all right, there we go. We probably need to put some signage up, actually. Probably right in here. This is like will call and then like ticket sales. So let's get a sign going here. Probably something a little bit larger than I would usually do. Because these are actually pretty large areas. So let's do something like that, and we'll do, this will be the will call. Will that be hidden by the roof is a big question. And I'll be honest with you, I have no idea if it will be. Let's actually make this white text. Oh, that's white outline. We'll do a black outline actually, and do a white text. There we go. And I think I won't do overtime. What's this one? Nope. Kind of wish there was a little bit better font sometimes. I think that'll work. And then slide that down to there. I guess the worst case scenario, we can always make the walls just a tiny bit taller. If need be, that is. Now, do I want to do this on every one of these, or do I want to do one in the middle? Or do I do something like that? Because I get a feeling if we did ticket sales like this across all of them, it would get kind of crowded. Yeah, I think that's going to be a little much. So I think what we're doing, I'm going to actually go over to the one right in the middle. I think that's going to be kind of the best option. Something like that. And delete that one. So there we go. So now we've got our will card, we got our ticket sales. I'm going to put a smaller sign here that says lost and found. Just because to me, this is somewhere you probably wouldn't have to go unless you're And usually, if you are going to Lost and Found, you probably have asked somebody where it's at. So let's do something like that. And yes, I will make this kind of a part of the theming here. I don't know which way it needs to go, so let's just do this. Lost and Found. Is it on both sides? Oh, it is on both sides. Oh, pretty cool. I actually didn't know that. Will it fit on this side? It will not, but I know it will fit on this side. So, guess what we need to do? I'm going to flip this around to there. And then I realized something. This is not Lost and Found. This is Season Pass processing. Great. Pass processing. Wonder if we can actually make it look a little bit nicer. That's the large one. I need the small one. I don't think it'll work because processing. I don't think I changed the font either. Hold on. Did I actually put 2 there? I did. Alright, well, fix that. It's not what we use. I think we used that one. What did we use over here? Maybe we used that one. Alright. Doesn't really look, it didn't really look like it was the correct one. Let's do this. Let's slide this up. Gotta match up the sign a little bit more. Sink that one in just a little bit more. I don't know about that. I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe just do Season Pass like that. And most people should know what I'm talking about, hopefully. And we'll see if we can we slide that in anymore. Not really. Alright, so let's duplicate this. And actually put it on the Lost and Found this time. Like so. And real quick, Lost and Found. There we go. So that takes care of, I actually just noticed the doors are actually too far in because there's like a glass pane in these doors. They're not showing through. So we need to fix that here. Should just be a quick fix. X. Pull these slightly. There we go. Also notice that I didn't grab the door handles. Alright, let's try that again. Well, that was unfortunate. I think my computer just crashed on me again. Don't know why I did that. That was a little odd. But I am back now. Let's see here. So we're going to load back into Planet Coaster. Hopefully, didn't lose too much there. I don't know when the last autosave was, but yeah, that wasn't great. I'll be honest with you. But it does happen. It's unfortunate because I think my computer's locked up again. That would be really unfortunate. Maybe just soft lock this time. Could be wrong about this. Grab some drink. It doesn't look like it's still coming through. So it's odd because right now my computer, everything here is completely locked up. It's locked up. It's soft locked. So I really can't click on anything. I can't do anything else. But for some reason, all the recording's still going through. I can see myself talking and moving. Oh, there it goes. It finally caught back up. All right, so where am I going to? I'm wanting to fix a few things. Make sure that it is correct on here before we go back to the game. I've got it loaded up in the background. I think that's why it's soft lock. It was trying to load the game. And did not like it when I had everything else going at once too. So, okay, so I kept the settings. So that's a good thing. I'll probably have to redo the game when I get it up here. Shouldn't take too long. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that up here and see if I can get the game capture to work properly. So yeah, Planet Coaster. Come on. Right now it's just a black screen on my screen too, so you're not missing anything right this second here. Well, that was unfortunate. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know if my computer's just it's starting to have some issues with some either the CPU or whatever. Which is unfortunate if it is, because, you know, well, there he goes. So for some reason, it's still in that really weird, I don't know why, but for some reason, it went to a really wide screen, like it went to, like, full, like a full screen, so it only will show, like, a quarter of it. But if I hit fit to screen, it'll be fine, so there we go. So, we got a couple of minutes while this reloads. We only got about a half hour left of the stream, so I'm going to try to at least finish up some of the lower details. I probably won't get to the roof today or anything like that, so it'll probably be next stream. But I think we've got a good, hopefully, fingers crossed, I don't know how much we lost. We have a good start on this park, or good start on the ticket booth and everything. I quite like how it's turning out. I think it's going to really set kind of the tone for the rest of it. A good thing it does say autosave. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't go Lake Park. If it's Lake Park, that means we've lost our entire booth, but it did save quite a bit. I do preach on how annoying sometimes that autosave can be, but it does really can save my butt in situations like this. So what can we talk about? Well, news came out this week, I think it was, that Cedar Fair, the company that owns Cedar Point, Kings Island, and a bunch of other parks around the country, actually sold the old land for Geauga Lake. If you don't know what Geauga Lake, it's G-A-U-E-G-A Lake. It's a big lake. I think it's in Aurora, Ohio. And originally, it was actually the home to the largest amusement park in the world, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong about that point, but it was one of the largest ones. Because it actually was, originally it was a Six Flags, or, well, originally it was an amusement park, got bought by Six Flags, and then it became Six Flags World of Fun. So it was the actual amusement park itself, Geauga Lake. There was a water park there, and then there was a SeaWorld there once, and it was all surrounding this one big lake called Geauga Lake. I don't remember going there, just because I was too young, but I actually was up there at one time to actually go to SeaWorld, which I think that was before the actual encompassing of the entire park. But it was closed in 2007 by Cedar Fair, which kind of makes sense. If you look at Cedar Fair, you know, they bought it from Six Flags, and Six Flags was in dire straits at one time, so that's when they bought Geauga Lake from it. And Cedar Fair is like, yeah, we don't need a third park in Ohio. They already had Cedar Point, which is up in Sandusky, Ohio, and they had Kings Island, which is in Mason, Ohio. And that kind of took, that was north of Ohio and south of Ohio, or southern part of Ohio, northern part of Ohio. And that one, Geauga Lake was kind of doomed almost to fail from that point, just because it wasn't really near a major highway. It was kind of hard to get to. A lot of the parks were getting kind of old, that needed a lot of money put into it, and Cedar Point didn't really want to do that. And so pretty much what they did was they took all the good rides out of it. I'd say good rides. Some people didn't like the rides they took out of it. Things like, I don't remember what the ride was called before at Geauga Lake. They actually repainted it and actually called it Firehawk at Kings Island. It actually originally came from Geauga Lake. And I'm pretty sure they sold it to another park now when they tore it down. And I'm pretty sure they sold it to another park, and I could be wrong about that. A couple other rides went to Cedar Point, but pretty much the rest of it was just left there to rot. I mean, it eventually was torn down. Now, it's been kind of back and forth on what's going to go with it. Originally, it was supposed to be a big factory going to be going there. And then originally, I think Meyer had bought part of it. They were going to put a Meyer there, and they never did. I think there's a small car, like a Ford dealership there now. But nobody really put this. There's this huge, vast land that this, amusement park actually held. And it came out this week that some development group bought it. They're actually going to turn it into almost like a downtown Disney-esque park. Essentially what it is, there's going to be houses and stuff like that there, but there's a lot of retail and shopping there. And it's still going to be called Geauga Lake. And they actually showed one of the signs, and it actually looks like the sign was actually like a double dip of a wooden roller coaster. I thought it was kind of cool. It actually was like a wooden coaster truss thing. It was actually really kind of neat. And so I think, you know what, I can even probably pull it up on my computer while the game loads, just so that you guys can see it. So this is from, let's see here, if I can pull it up, I think I can actually go to monitor capture here. So you can kind of see here kind of what it looks like. Don't really care about Black Friday stuff. What I care about is this photo right here. This is actually what kind of the entrance of the place is supposed to look like. You actually can see the roller coaster right, kind of the idea one right here. And it looks like they're actually keeping the kind of same font area. But this is supposed to be like, it almost looks like it's a small town, and it kind of reminds me of what Walt Disney tried to do, but not quite. But I think it's actually going to be a neat little thing. It's sad to see kind of that park go. 337 acres, that's a huge park. So let's cut that now. But it's actually a neat idea. I think it'd be interesting to go see it. And it might just be nothing, to be honest with you. It could just be kind of a flop, like, people complain stuff like that. That looks really cool, but actually executing it is a totally different issue. It's kind of one of the harder things about stuff like that. And it kind of sucks because you can get really neat plans and neat ideas, and then nobody wants to carry through with them, and it can be kind of an issue. So when we get back in the game, we'll probably have about 25 minutes left. I'll probably build until about 5 till, and then wrap it up there. So we'll at least try to get the first level done, make it look like it's accessible for everything. I don't know if so. There's a couple things I also want to do. I want to do the roof on it, of course. I'm going to do some queue lines outside. I'll probably do a little sitting area. For some reason, they always have a lot of areas you can sit outside the park. Maybe just for if you want to bring your own lunch, you can sit outside there. If you need to get it from your car or whatever, stuff like that. We've already taken care of security. That's actually before the bridge, which is probably the smart idea to make sure no one tries anything stupid on the bridge. What else is there? I don't know what else. We might do some advertising on top of the roof, like they put small billboards on top there to advertise. You get the gold season pass for only 7 easy installments of $30 or whatever. Which, by the way, they do that. I think Kings Island does it. I think you pay for the entire year. I think you pay I think it's maybe $10 a month or $9 a month or something like that. There's a little interest in there, but you pay for it over 12 months, and then you can use your season pass as much as you want to. But it's almost like a payment plan. I think there's other ones. I think it might be only an 8-month thing. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, it's really interesting. It's something that they can do. Because some of this stuff can be really expensive. Like if I remember from Kings Island when I bought my season, or when I got my season pass, you get things like the dining plans, stuff like that, and the pass and some other parks like that. But you're still talking probably around the $200 range or so just for the season pass and the dining plan. So they get really expensive. So I can understand why some people would want to have a payment plan in place to to actually pay for their season passes, which is maybe a bit of an odd situation, but you know, they do what they need to do. And we are back in, and I can see we are back at that first ticket booth here. So in all honesty, we really didn't lose all that much. We lost a little bit of signage out front, and we lost 2 of our workers. Honestly, could have been a lot worse. So let's get our old guy back down here. Go. And let's also pause the game so it doesn't freak out on me. Because for some reason it does not like it when I am playing this game and actually have it going like normal. I mean, it happens. Let's see here. Then we want to gray his hair a little bit. And, you know, hold on. I don't think that'll be whiter. At least I can reset that. It's not what I wanted to do at all. This part is where I actually want to make it a little more gray. There we go. I think that'll work. Then we also need to get the other animatronic down here. That was just standing up here. Maybe a manager or something like that. It is film crew. Female idol. Grab the colors from this guy, that one, and that one. Slide that over to here. We'll do blue and tan. There we go. There we go. We got our workers back in here. And we get our projection screens back in here. That. I didn't even know there was a projector in the game. That's actually kind of neat. Which I guess it makes sense if you have projector screens. Let's be real here, it makes sense, but you know, just a thought. I'm like, oh, that's not the not what I would think, but you know, it happens. So we lost a little bit of our signage as well up front here, which essentially our will call signs and our ticket sales signs. But we at least know what we can do or what we need to do. Those, we just do signs. Come down here to the large signs. Place that there. And do, oh, well, that's not what I wanted to do. Do will call. Back to that one. Actually, you know what? Let's see if there's not really one that's just kind of plain. I mean, that, I guess, maybe probably the easiest to read, to be honest with you. I'll slide that back into there, like so. Slide that into there. I'll need to rename this Ticket Sales. Then we need to go back over here and get some smaller signs. Small sign there. I guess you know, we could. I mean, it's like we're making the text, you know, so that we can make the sign white. Which you know, let's see what. Let's do that. Let's see what happens. Some angle snapping on this one. I don't want it to stick out as much. I kind of want to make it look like it's, you know, supposed to be there. Let's see. This is going to say season pass, and we'll make this the bright white we were looking for. There we go. That looks good. I actually think that works out pretty well. Move this sign down to here. Rotate this like So, get the season pass going back there. And, well, say season pass is going to be lost and found here in a second. Lost and found. There we go. There we go. I think we're back up to where we were, essentially. I know it seemed like it took a lot longer, but, you know, a lot of it was just kind of figuring stuff out. So there is that. So what else do we want to do today to kind of get this a little more going in the right direction? So let's actually do the kind of the path work around here. What I want to first do is get this, slide it into here. Perfect. I don't think I will do planters because if you look here, the planters that we could fit in here were actually probably minuscule at best. I think something like that will really kind of blue. Maybe a little darker. Maybe not. Once again, I'm just kind of playing around until I get something that kind of is close to that path there. And it kind of looks like it was a little bit older path that we maybe had to do some repairs on or whatever. And you know, there's stuff like that that happens, and we couldn't get the stamp for it that we originally used, so that that's kind of what we're left with. And it's not bad. Like, once we put stuff over top of it, I don't think you'll notice it as much. Let's see here. Let's extend the this area just out a little bit. This will probably, you know, be part of either the seating area or what have you. Something like that. A little bit more here. There we go. So that kind of makes Pro Plaza a little bit more. It kind of looks like we had to expand it a little bit at one time. But I think it's starting to work out pretty well. Kind of like how it's looking. It does look like we've been actually working on a new ticket area for a little bit now, which is kind of neat. I kind of like it. Looked like, you know, we're like, hey, you know, we need to section this section off, and we'll start building up here. But I don't know if I'm going to keep this green. I might turn it into like a little bit, like a more, maybe a little more white, a little more faded. But I can do that later. What else do we want to do here? We need to fix the doors. That's what we were doing when my computer crashed. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if everybody can cross their fingers. Hopefully this won't completely go down the drain when I move it again. There we go. Now we're pretty much back to where we were, and even actually a little bit farther. So what else do we want to do? So roof won't get done today. We got about 10 minutes left until I want to start wrapping up here. So the roof probably won't get done today, but I think we can actually edit this a little bit, just so that, actually, you know what, I'm going to have to go from here, aren't I? Let's duplicate that. We'll, you know, rotate it. Like that. I'm going to split this from the building now. So, I'll have to get a little creative in how I do some of this stuff. But, you know, that's how some of the better buildings come about. You have to be a little more creative with them to kind of figure out how to kind of get around some of the obstacles that the game's kind of built with. Like, so I do something like that. So here's the other problem. So I'm trying to match up kind of the bottom here also with this part, which I think I can do, kind of get away with something like that. And I think what I'm going to do is actually kind of frame these buildings a little bit differently. Something like that. here as well. I don't have one on this side here, so I'm going to just copy from here first. And I don't have one on this corner, so I'll have to fix that first. I'll stick it on the other side too, just so that a little more corner detailing than just that one side here. And one more. Do one more on this side as well. There we go. So starting to look nice, and we might want to put maybe some smaller windows. Well, I mean, I'm not going to worry about it too right now because I do need it. When I put the roof on, I'll kind of figure out what I want to do with it next. But we're getting about that point where kind of running a little on time, and I really don't want to start, working on the roof and everything because it's probably going to take a little while to do. I can kind of give you an idea of how I want to do this. I'll get a wood. There's just use a nice plain wood roof on this one, but I don't want it too tall. At least for this section that kind of the short or this shorter section here. I don't really want it too tall. I don't really want it to kind of block the tower kind of over on the sides here. So let's do something like that. Yeah, that'll work. I want a little bit of an overhang on it. But here's again, that's kind of the issue I'm going to run into, I get a feeling, is actually not being able to cover up those signs. So what do I have to probably do? We can probably even fix it right now. It shouldn't take that long to do. Delete that. Got this. Essentially, that's what we'll have to do, and we'll have to do a little bit of work. I bet we can even do it now because I think we can actually move all these up and not have to worry about like that. I only want to worry about having a gap in the middle because I think that's why we did the two along there. So let's go ahead and kind of continue that. Duplicate all this. Because that should be the same height there. So I do want to do kind of the same overhang on the back here. And now, if I duplicate this and then raise it up to like that, rotate this around. Nope, that's not exactly what I wanted to do. That's an issue. So if you look here, we do have a bit of a hole in the roof. There should be one of these. So this should be the same slope as. Ooh. Well, this is a bit of an issue now, isn't it? Alright, so because if I do that, there's going to be an overhang on that side. And if I do something like that, there's going to be an overhang on that side. I think I'll do this and then I'll show you kind of what I'm thinking here. While this doesn't give off the same aesthetic as I want it to, what I can do, I mean, it'll give it from the front like I want, because this is kind of the part I want, more people are going to see than the back side of this. So what I'll do is go ahead and duplicate that. And then do something like this. They kind of make it look like maybe this building's not quite... maybe it was actually something different. It had different theming originally. And then it was switched over to this kind of theming after maybe a renovation of some sort. I mean, it's a decent story. It's not like it's the going to win any Oscars or anything like that, but it's a decent story. Maybe something like this. I said I wasn't going to do the roof today, but you know, plans change, stuff like that. I think kind of get a little bit of an idea. So now, essentially, these are going to become these little towers on the ends here. And these are actually going to be, these towers here are actually going to be a little bit taller now. I think that's going to make it look a little bit nicer. I really like how this ticket area has come out so far. It's actually been, brother, I didn't expect it. Like, I wasn't really, I didn't have a solid plan in mind, but I think after actually kind of working on it for the past, 2 hours, it's turned out pretty nice. And I really don't know what else to do with it right now. It's kind of where I kind of got stuck. So this might be a good place to actually stop and kind of wrap it up. So guys, if you are new here, this is kind of what we did today. If you guys get joining, so pretty much this is all we did today. We're doing a little bit of a shorter stream than usual, but it does happen. So essentially what this was is, we really didn't have a ticket booth at all here at the park, and I've been working on this park for over a year, probably it's right at a year or over a year now. And there we go, Comic Guy 81, thank you sir for the follow, I do appreciate it. And speaking of follows, that should be number 47. We're actually getting three. We're actually only 3 away from actually getting to 50, and that's pretty neat, guys. So still going the same things with that. If we get to 50 here soon, I do want to do the special fireworks show. I do want to do the naming and everything. That'd be kind of fun. Comic Guy, I'm not 100% sure. That is, if I'm not mistaken, with the Magnificent Machine, you do get it with the pre-order. I could be wrong about that, because this is actually the original PC version of it. So I've had this for 2 or 3 years now. So I haven't really looked into the ordering of that yet. But the coaster, I'm not 100% sure what coasters you get. I know there's quite a few. Really, if you go and kind of go, like if you go on Wikipedia or something like that, you can kind of look up what coasters you get in the base game. There was, I think, maybe, if I probably estimate, maybe 8 coasters that you get from DLCs, maybe 10 of them. But there's probably a good solid 30 already in the pack. So you probably get 20 track ride. You say, with all that, I'm not 100% sure. I really probably best to go to Google and to answer your questions there. I'm not probably an expert on Planet Coaster. I just kind of building it, but guys, I think that's gonna be it for me today. Though unfortunately, I did have to wrap up a little bit early today. I wish I could have played a little bit longer, but something has come up, and I do need to head out a bit early today, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. We're getting close to that follower goal. Hopefully we hit that at the end of the soon. If you are new here, I do actually stream 2 times a week right now, every Wednesday and Friday, usually from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Once again, today I had to cut it a little short, but I will be back on Friday with some Factorio, stuff like that. I do appreciate it, guys. Thanks for joining me today. I hope to see you guys on Friday for some Factorio, and maybe back here next week for some more Planet Coaster. But until then, guys, thanks for joining me today, and you have a great day. Have a great Thursday, and I'll see you guys on Friday. Oop, that's the wrong button.